Ho, 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 Mr. Caden. Merry Christmas, my friend. I'm going to do a couple videos for you this week. I mean, we're not, because of the way our schedule's changed, we're not having class next week. I mean, I know you're not here, but it makes this our Christmas week. So I'm kind of changing things up. I don't know if your parents or your dad read the email. I'm not doing any homework, but I still am doing a couple of things with multiplication in class. So this is probably going to be the only video I make this week because a lot of the other stuff is just kind of um, what I call review from multiplication from last year when you learned in third grade. So I want you to keep working on that. But this is the grade where you start learning the properties on the different techniques when it comes to multiplication. So I'm going to go over what we end. This is section 5.4. I don't know if you did this. I forgot to do this yesterday. We got busy yesterday. Section 5.4 is called the multiplication properties in 9. Okay, and there's 4 major properties that you're going to see this during this chapter. One is called the order property. There's the multiplication property of 1, the multiplication property of 0, and the grouping property. As long as you pay attention, these are pretty much easy. All right, we're going to go over the first one right now. The first one is called the order property of multiplication, and that's basically stating that you got multiples, right? You got 2 multiples, 2 times 2 in what equals 4, which is your product, okay? The order property states it doesn't matter what you do with the multiples. You can flip them. It could be the same. You can go 5 times 2 is 10. You can flip it to 2 times 5, and it's still going to be 10. That's called the order property. So it doesn't matter if it is 9 times 2 or 2 times 9, you're going to get 18. So the order property means it doesn't matter if you flip the multiples around, 9 times 2 or 2 times 9. That is called the order property. Okay. Next one is called the multiplication property of 1. Okay. Multiplication property of 1. Basically, it states that anything times 1 is itself. Anytime you got a 1 in the number, that indicates the anything times 1 is itself. So 9 times 1 is 9. 8 times 1 is 8. So anytime there's a 1, it's the first multiple, or the opposite multiple of 1 is always going to be that number. So 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 1 is 10. Okay. And then there's the multiplication property of 0. That is self-explanatory. It doesn't matter in multiplication or division if you have a 0 in the problem. The answer is always going to be 0. 9 times 0, 10 times 0, 2 times 0. It is always going to be 0. Okay. And then finally, there's something called the grouping property. All right. And that is when you got multiple, more than 2 multiples. So, for example, we'll go 2 times 2 times 3. Okay. When you see a parentheses in the number, that is called the grouping property. Okay. This is called the grouping property, where you group 2 or more numbers together. In this case, the 2 times 2, which means when you got parentheses, it tells you to do this first. So you go 2 times 2, which is 4. Then you bring down the 3. Okay. So you made that into a 4, and then you go 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Okay. What I need you to do is go ahead and work on page 125. The homework, don't worry about homework this week. Anything we do this week, because of, like I said, everything changing, I'm kind of giving you guys a break. So there's no math homework. Same thing with Spixback. I don't know how much you got done, but I decided just to scrap it this week and just give points for it. Go ahead and work on the only thing we're really doing this week is the reading. So when you get to the reading test, just you can use your book, because we're just going to do that as a more of a worksheet we're going to do together in class. So if you want to use your book, go ahead and use it. I really can't stop it because we already started it and we kind of have a schedule. I have a schedule when it comes to reading, and I kind of have to follow that. The reason why I'm weird that way, but just to have enough time at the end of the year to get our novel in we're going to do a novel, and that novel takes 8 weeks to do. And so when we finish up our book, our Journeys book, it should be the middle of April, right around Easter. And then the rest of the year, the last 6-7 weeks of school, we focus on the story, which happens to be the first one we did in Journeys, called the Because of Winn-Dixie I mentioned you before. So that's the only thing you really need to do this week is the story Riding Freedom. That's what it's called. The test, you can do it in your book. I'll make sure that I'll tell Brett, your dad, on the email that it's okay to do that. But don't worry about homework this week. Just take it easy. And I'm hoping that we will see you when it comes to New Year's. All right. Take care, Caden.